Hey everybody, this is Matt from Crazy Creative Couple, and this is my medieval catapult. Stay tuned to watch how I built it. Alright, the first step, guys, is to make a frame for the base of our catapult. So here's how the frame is going to go together. Get a piece right in here. Excellent. Alright, so we've cut out our cross pieces for our X to make it more stable, and I've used my skill saw here, Black & Decker skill saw, to cut out the angle on each side of these, and then I just whack the piece out with a hammer. It's the easiest way to just crack it right out. And with any luck, it should fit together perfectly, more or less. And right there you have it. So now I've got the top braces for our catapult cut, and it's laying down right here. These are going to be each side. This is part of the top, and then this also is going to strengthen it. And this part right here is where the catapult is going to whack against when it's throwing something. It's going to whack into that. So this spot right here has to be reinforced extra well. So we'll screw this all together and then attach it to our frame. So now I'm going to use pieces of an old bed frame that I found on the side of the road, and we're going to use this, cut it up to put in here. And we're going to add 2 more braces for where this arm of the catapult is going to travel in here. So this is going to strengthen that and keep it where we want it. Alright, so here's where we are right now. All of the structural kind of support work to make this thing strong is complete, I think, unless I'm forgetting something. And what we're going to do now is we're going to start to make the actual arm, which is going to be housed in here. And this is going to be what catapults the rocks or the beach balls or whatever you're going to throw. So now I'm going to cut the piece that's going to be the arm and get the rope ready. Going to make some holes, and I'm going to start to create the tensioning system that's going to create the tension that's going to make this thing go. So here's my idea for the boom, or for the arm, the part that moves for this catapult. I've got this 2x4 cut to 38 inches. That's the length I decided on that looked the best, thought would work the best. And I've got this copper bowl that I got for 50 cents at a yard sale last year. And I'm going to put this on here, and this is going to be what holds the projectiles we're going to catapult with this thing. But it's a little bit wider at the base than the 2x4 is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a circle on this piece of scrap wood that I have, attach it to the 2x4, and then mount this to that. And you always want these screws to be offset with the grain, that way you don't split it, because if you put 2 screws in the same grain, you're more likely to split the wood that way. Just a little tip for you. Now to attach that, I'm going to have to drill through it. I cut one of these big metal brackets in half, and I clamped it in a vise, and I formed it with a hammer, so that way this can hold the rope. And I've got this thick, almost 1-inch rope that's going to go on either side of this, and I've got this one, which is going to hold one rope nice and tight, and then where the 2 ends of the rope connect together, I've got one with room for 2 pieces, so you can clamp it on like so. And that's my plan. I'm going to go with it, see what happens. I think it's going to work. this handle. Back. Alright. So the trick here is connecting these two ropes strongly enough so that this is under what's probably going to be a couple 100 pounds of tension, to be honest. So when it's under tension, they're not going to slip. Now I can tighten them. Alright, so I've tensioned this to the point where it works now. It doesn't shoot hard, but it does shoot. So it's nighttime now. What we've got here all measured out are the gears that are going to be able to be cranked to pull the arm of this catapult down into position. Then it'll lock down, and then there'll be a lever to pull to release. So here we have the teeth all drawn out. I'm going to cut them out with a skill saw right now. There it is, baby. Alright, now I'm working on the actual crank that's going to turn the gears. So I've got 3 pieces screwed and glued together. I like that, screwed and glued. So 3 pieces screwed and glued together for the actual crank that's going to turn the gears here. And then I've drilled 1-inch holes every quarter turn. And now I'm gluing them in. So I'm going to put just some wood glue. Just a couple gentle taps. Sure it's in enough, and we're good. Alright, so now I'm going to start to put together the whole crank system that I've designed here. About there. That is it, right there. So here's where we're at. I've got 2x4s cut into 12-inch pieces. We're going to need 4 of them to make each wheel. And the reason I'm doing this out of 2x4s and not just cutting this out of one big piece of wood is because if you look at pictures of these old medieval catapults, they didn't have huge flat milled lumber. They had smaller pieces that were always bolted and bracketed together. So we're going to do the same exact effect with this. So I've got these pieces of, this is decking material, kind of like Trex. I don't know if it is Trex or not, but it's a similar kind of thing. And we're going to use this as the cross pieces to screw on, whoops, to hold our wheels together. So I'm going to trace out the shape of the wheel on these 2x4s first, just so we know how to line these up in the right spot. Then we'll screw them on, and then we'll cut the shape of the wheel out after that. So to make our wheel, we're going to use this trash bin, stainless steel trash bin that I got at a yard sale for like $1. And the reason why is later on we're going to cut this into strips, same width as a 2x4, and it's going to go as a ring around the outside of the wheel for a really cool effect. So we're going to trace this exact size onto these 2x4s, and that'll be our wheel. So we're going to make 4 metal rings, 1 to go around each wheel out of this waistband. I already cut the top off of it. Now I've got just the nice sheet metal. And I've got this set to about a little over 1 inch, maybe 1.25 inches. So it's going to be smaller than the width of the 2x4. And we're going to just turn this around and cut the strips out. Definitely need gloves for these because it's going to be really sharp until I file it down. Definitely need eye protection, and it's going to be very, very loud. Here we go. Here's what we got. Perfect ring. I'm going to open her up. I chose a redwood, transparent redwood color. I thought it would look really nice on this catapult. I'm sure there's a proper technique for this, but I really just can't be bothered, to be honest. So, I'm going to do it how I want to do it. Alright, now we're going to polyurethane the main part. Here we go. Yep, buddy. So last night I was trying to tension up this catapult, and the tension rods that I had snapped like a toothpick. And I put thicker ones in. I did 1.25 inches, and those snapped like a toothpick too. So I was forced to try to find something else. So I found 2 metal pins. I don't know what they're from. I found them in the woods about 1 year ago or 2 years ago. So they've been working so far. I've got it tensioned up enough. I've had to make some adjustments, but now I think it works. So now I'm going to work on attaching these wheels here. Perfect. There it is. Now to let this turn on the base here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of 2-inch gray Schedule 40 PVC conduit, and I'm going to cut it just a little bit wider than this. So I'm probably going to cut it at about 1 inch, and that'll just be like almost like a little washer, and that'll keep this from hitting that when the wheels turn. So I'm going to go do that. And just drop it on there. We'll see if it'll thread on. So here's a shot of how this works exactly. We've got our boom or our catapult arm tensioned up with the rope, and then we have this rope that pulls it down, going to 2 different pulleys up to the spool, and this is the release lever. We've got some gears here, so here I'm going to crank it up for you, show you how this works. Here it comes. Here's the ball. And fire!